Hi, my name is Scott Wilhite. I am owner and CEO of PowerRes Software Solutions. We are a software development company that builds mobile applications for colleges and universities that use the Microsoft Office 365 Office Suite. This is also part of the Microsoft Power Platform solution. Right now, Texas A&M Texarkana does not have a mobile solution. It uses Blackboard, which has a mobile app on the App Store, but there is no specific mobile native app or any mobile app for Texas A&M Texarkana, and that's what this is. It provides a solution for that. Texas A&M College Station has a mobile app. This is the graphic they use to display some of its features. The splash screen appears to be on the far right. Then the menu screen, a map of part of the campus, so on and so forth. That's the Texas A&M College Station application. This is what the proposal is about. This is the Texas A&M Texarkana Power App that is fully functional. It's not just a wireframe mock-up of the app, and I'll get to the function of it here in a few slides. This is what it looks like. I borrowed the College Station's layout, and I hope that's okay. But the splash screen, as it's called, is over on the far right. There's the Texas A&M Texarkana, the beautiful campus, with the enter button. And then the home screen is next to that with contact RA on the top, submit ticket, so on and so forth. Then the next screen is student list, and then what that list looks like, and then what a individual student's information page looks like. We'll get to that. There are other software companies that do custom Power Apps or SharePoint solutions for things like this. Crow Canyon Software is one company. They are mostly involved in SharePoint and Teams solutions for kind of this same need. The costs for them are on the screen, $399 a month for up to 50 users. And then, of course, $800 for 251 to 500. This is for custom software applications that ride on the Office 365 platform. It gets pretty costly. There's another software solution for residential life that is specific to residential life environments for colleges and universities. It's called StarRes. StarRes is very feature rich. It's also very expensive. It's appears to be the industry standard or the most popular among colleges and universities. If you've got a huge budget and can afford it, this is the one that takes the application from the student, questions the incoming student when they fill out the application, 20 or 25 questions to identify a little bit about their personality and as a means to pick another incoming student for a dorm mate, things like that. It also does ticket functionality and staffing, schedules, all kinds of things. That's what the menu looks like when you open it on their website. This is their website, by the way. StarRes, for about a 250-bed college, as an example of what it costs, is about $30,000 to get going the first year. $12,000 one-time fee, and then about $15,000 to $17,000 a year. So $30,000 up front, about $15,000 every year. $15,000 a year just for a software application. Okay, now we're going to go to this app and take a look at how it works. Microsoft Power Apps is the application. Power Apps is not much different than Excel, Word, PowerPoint. It just happens to be a data visualizer. So where Excel will be a workbook with tabs on it that's got information that somebody entered, and you can see the information that's entered after you save the file. Power Apps is sort of an interface to a spreadsheet if you want. You can collect data in a spreadsheet, even exporting data out of a say, an Oracle student information system, and store that in an Excel file, put it in OneDrive, store it in OneDrive, or store it on a SharePoint site that you create, and then create a Power App that shows all the data in that Excel workbook. So Power Apps doesn't really store any data. It's just a application that takes data that you've got stored, not just in one file. It can connect to multiple different files for one Power App. And we'll kind of see how that looks here. This is the splash screen that you saw on the slides, and over here is the file menu, so to speak. It's where all the functionality takes place, and this is point and click, drag and drop type coding or building. It's not full on code, but there are some formulas that make it that go along with it that help customize it, and that's what my company offers is a starting point for a solution that's not expensive and can be edited and added to and changed on site pretty easily. So this is the file structure right here. Now I'm going to put this into play mode where we can see what it looks like when it's on a phone. By the way, this is installed on my phone, and I've been testing it for the last 2 or 3 days. So some of the features that I'll show you or that you'll see are not perfect, but it was kind of created on the fly, and it shows what the potential capabilities are. So a student opens up a Power App, clicks enter, and this is the home screen. It's got the menu items. If it's a dorm student, they want to contact their RA. They click on that. This is the form that they see. It's just another screen, just like if you were to create another page in a Word document that had objects, dynamic objects in it. It's not much more difficult than that. This would be the subject of the email that they would send to the RA if they needed something, like the next door is being too loud. Call RA. If this is on your phone and you hit call RA, it'll call the number from the phone that this is on. It's got a back button. This version has a back button and a home button. I'm going to click back. It'll take me back to the home screen. Submit ticket. This would be if you want to submit a ticket to IT or an RA or building maintenance. You can see there's some duplicate things in here, but again, this is just for demonstration. This uses a drop down to pick any one of those departments. This is some canned language that has some formula behind it that identifies who you are. So a student authenticates to get to the app using the Microsoft Office credentials. So if a student is active, whether it's through Active Directory or Azure or whatever authentication service is used, if it's Microsoft, then Power Apps just works gracefully, whether that's unfortunate or not. Microsoft seems to be what everyone uses for Active Directory and for network authentication. That's what this does, and it recognizes that this is me. It's got a picture that it pulls then, and it says, hey, you're going to submit this ticket as, in this case, Scott Wilhite. It's also going to pull from a database that your room number is in, and it'll tell you I'm submitting a ticket for, in this case, RHW room 10. Then it will send it. And this is just a form that sends an email. Class schedule is blank, but this would be if you wanted to connect to, I think Texas A&M Texarkana uses an Oracle solution for student information services. It probably runs on a SQL database or some variation of that. Oracle is kind of the gold standard of databases. Whatever database they use will have an API, and this Power App will have a connector, sort of like an API. It'll be a connector that you can that doesn't require coding, that you can connect to that database. And if you want the student's schedule to show up, it'll show it in whatever format you want. My grades, for instance, I've got this connected to a SharePoint list. So it shows, of course, 4.0 for spring 2022, but this is, again, fully customizable, as are all these buttons. Blackboard, right now I've got this program to go to ntcc.edu, so I'm not going to click it, but it's programmed just to be basically a hyperlink that opens up our website. This is coded. This is the athletics button. It's under construction, but that's what the screen looks like. You can put whatever you want. If you wanted to schedule, contact campus police. I think this is not. Yeah, this is one of the ones that is not sort of logically set up. That would be a screen for security. In our case, at NTCC, we have security guards. We don't have police, law enforcement officers. So our security guards should have and do have access to student information, unlike a law enforcement officer. So this is on our campus how they would get to search for a student or create an incident report. In our menu, this is a parent screen in coding jargon. It's got a child screen, but the parent screen has if this was by the way, I'm going to back up. If a RA logs in, if a regular student logs in, not an RA, this can be customized to where the student doesn't see the RA menu. They don't see. You can tell them. You can set this. You can program this to display on a user level, and it's just as feature or it's got the same degree of functionality as any Microsoft product. So if a student is in a particular security group within the Active Directory, this exactly mimics it. So if a student logs in, they might not see the RA menu. But if you've got a staff of, say, 6 RAs, you can add them to an RA security group, and when they log into this, or when they open it, it stores login credentials. But when they open it, they'll see an RA menu. And say the RA is walking down the hall and they want to check on a room that's noisy, and they don't know everybody in the room, or they get in and they want to check some IDs. They'd come in here, and if they wanted to look first, they might hit student list. Here's a list. This is kind of placeholder information I've put together for this. Mark Zuckerberg, who of course built the first Facebook, and that's what this is. This is what inspired me to build this this application, was to solve the problem of not being able to know who for sure I'm talking to on campus. I need to see a picture, I need to see a name, I need a student ID, I need all sorts. I need their assigned room numbers because I can't remember 250 students. So in this case, Zuckerberg is in Kirkland House, which he really was in Kirkland House. That's his meta, what he apparently identifies as in his metaverse. And this is all customizable. All this data just came from a SharePoint list, and you can add or change. You can even add an edit button on here and have user level edits. Same thing all the way down. All these, by the way, are real dorm students from pop culture movies. Of course, this is Doug Niedermeyer from Animal House. And my favorite is Thornton Mellon from, and he really is in 406. This is from Back to School. All right, so that's the app. And if I go back, if I just hit the home button, it takes me back here to this. And as you can see, any data that you have in any place it resides, you can connect to it and show it and filter it based on the user level. And it's pretty simple to use, and it's even pretty simple to build. Once you have it open in Power Apps and take a look around, you'll see that that is the case. And so my company, to reach it, is right here. If I can get to it. PowerRes Solutions. This is the website for it, powerres.com, and there is a contact link, contact us. So that's what it is. It's a PowerRes software solution for colleges and universities who can't afford $30,000 a year for an out-of-the-box Res Life solution. or can't afford $100 or $200,000 or $300,000 a year in staffing and development of a native app that has to be approved through Google Play and the Apple Store. As is in the proposal, it's pretty cheap to install, and there's options to customize it on the institutional level. So at some point, college or university doesn't even have to have a consultant or a help from my company in order to use it. Hope this has been informative, and my contact information is on this website. Thanks.